Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining. It's chair yoga class number 16 with me, Dave Rennie. It's a beautiful day here in Leicester. The sun has come out. I've just been for a little walk. I've just been doing a little bit of Turkish. I'm learning Turkish at the moment. I know. It's tough. It's tough learning a foreign language, isn't it? Do you do any of the foreign language stuff on Virtual Village Hall? Because there is some really great classes, isn't there? But it kind of keeps this ticking away, doesn't it? Which is good for us. But what we do today is we're here to do a little bit of movement. And I've got my chair. There it is. I'm not sat on it at the moment. I'm neglecting my chair, but I am going to go back there. So make sure you're comfortable. Chair yoga, make sure that the chair that you use is nice and steady and secure, and you're comfortable in it. Sometimes that's a little bit of trial and error. Sometimes it's about, finding a chair that you're really comfortable in and you know it. And you just sink into it and you're like, I'm really great at doing this practice in this position. If you're new, then a wholehearted welcome. Everything we do on the floor where I am at the moment, we can do on a chair, which is magic, right? Because sitting on a floor like this is not, the easiest thing to do. I remember when I first started doing yoga, sitting on the floor, I was like, what's this floor thing? I sit in chairs. And, we can bring a lot of range of movement by sitting in a chair, and I just think it's a really great way to practice. So thank you for joining if it's your first or second time, and if you've been doing the previous 15 weeks, then a wholehearted welcome. We're going to do some similar stuff that we've done the last 2 weeks, and then we're going to move on and we're going to look at some more postures, but we'll try and do it in kind of like banks of 2 or 3 classes where we revisit postures, then we get used to them, and then what we'll tend to do is we'll kind of thread them into the classes as we go through the weeks and we go through the seasons. But it's quite nice to kind of, not exactly the same sequence, but to kind of bring these familiar postures back. And then hopefully you don't need to do it with me, right? Remember, you can do all this stuff on catch-up. You can look at Facebook, and there's some lovely content on TikTok, not the full classes, and on Instagram, but look on, Facebook and look on YouTube, and you'll get all of the content there. And I was looking at the content for this week, and there's been some fantastic stuff already. So hopefully you've already done some of those classes. I'm back here on Thursday at 2:30 if you want to do this kind of yoga on the floor. So I'm going to go back there. I'm going to put the chat on. There's already been some comments. Jackie's here and Irene's here. Hello to you guys. You're always here, right? Thank you so much. It really means a lot to kind of practice with people up and down the country, the length and the breadth. It does mean a lot. So I'm going to go back there. So make sure you're comfortable. Some people use a blanket, a cushion. I'm not going to use any of that stuff today. My chair is pretty cushioned, so that feels quite nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of not perch, but I'm going to bring my bottom towards the front of the chair. So I'm not leaning back in my chair. So this is the first posture. And I'm going to bring the soles of my feet on the floor. If you can do that, then maybe join me. And this is seated Tadasana. So Tadasana is mountain pose. And, when you do it in yoga where we stand, it's like this, right? But we can do it sitting on the floor. It's the same principle. Think about tucking your tailbone under, so the lower part of your spine. Lengthen out through your spine, and then just let your shoulder blades relax, and then find your hands somewhere comfortable. You can be palms up, you can be palms down. It really doesn't matter. Don't overthink this stuff. Maybe you close your eyes or just soften your gaze. If you soften your gaze, then it's nice just to kind of gaze down very, very kind of gently in front of you, and notice how you feel. It's Tuesday and it's 2:30. It's getting a little bit warmer, right? After some beautiful rain over the weekend. I really enjoyed the rain. I'm so British, aren't I? Oh yeah, we need the rain. But it has been very dry, hasn't it? So it felt like it freshened everything up. But now it's a little warmer, so it can feel a little lethargic in the afternoon. So just check in here and notice what you're noticing. See how you're feeling. This is a feeling practice. It's just taking that little bit of time to notice. Without too much emphasis on anything in particular. Maybe notice your breath, maybe notice how your body feels as you find that length in your spine and your shoulders relax. And then if your eyes are closed, you might just bring your eyes open and blink them open, and then maybe have a little move around. Now the movements that you do can be really small, So maybe just a little bit of movement from side to side. I'm lucky with this chair because it's got nice sturdy sides on it. You might have heard me say it's an IKEA chair, not IKEA, it's a Habitat chair. Check that out. And it's probably, well, I've lived here for 20 years. It's older than that because I had it in my old flat. So it's probably 22 years old. They make good furniture, Habitat, don't they? It's not the cheapest in the world, but it lasts. All right, okay, so come back with your spine long, and then we're going to do a little bit of side to side movement. So keep your left hand down, so say you like me, you can just hold on to the edge of the chair, then inhale your right arm up. As you exhale, just bend that right arm over towards the left. Keep your feet kind of firmly planted, so you're not kind of lifting up through your feet, keeping your hips relatively neutral. So you feel this stretch, from my middle right finger down to my outer right hip. It's nice. I can move a little further if I want, but I'm not in any rush to fold in two, as if I could. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the right arm down. Right, you feel that, don't you? Maybe a little roll through the shoulders. Maybe a little shrug up and down. Nice. And then the right hand stays where it is on the side of your chair. Inhale, the left arm up. So this is where we find length. Root down through the four corners of your feet. Exhale, and then that beautiful bend over towards the left. And what I tend to do is I don't want to kind of lean forward like this. I want to kind of roll that left shoulder up and back. And then I could look that way, but probably not because I haven't really done any movement through my neck. We'll do that in a moment. Inhale to find length. And then exhale a little further into your side bend. Nice. Take one more round of breath. Nice deep inhale. And then take a full exhale. Come back to center. Bring that left hand down. Bring the hands onto the knees and do a little bit of seated cat-cow. So we've been doing this last few weeks. We've been doing it a bit later in the classes, but let's jump into it now. So you inhale, drop your belly down, lift your head, lift your heart. You might look up just a tiny bit, but no strain. Exhale, round your spine. So you're just kind of resting the hands on your thighs or your knees. You inhale to come forward. Exhale to round. Stay super relaxed through your jaw. Keep moving like this. Inhaling forward. And exhale as you round. Keep moving. Inhaling. And exhaling. A couple more. Inhale, come back to center, and then take a full exhale. Really needed that through my spine. I carried a mattress, or I moved a mattress earlier, and I think I strained my back a little bit, so that felt good in my lower back. Okay, a little bit of movement through our necks. So you might adjust your bottom. You might kind of move a little. That can feel quite good. And then bring the hands somewhere where they're comfortable. You don't have to get too fussy about this stuff. And then just begin to drop your chin down. Keep your spine long, your shoulders are relaxed, and then kind of just move the head out. I'm going to yawn here, which I always think is a good sign. It doesn't particularly mean that I'm tired. It means that I'm relaxing into the practice. Movement side to side, feeling that softness through your jaw. Have a little gap in between the teeth, that'll help your jaw relax. And then if you wanted to, you can do complete circles. So maybe circle your head out. Maybe inhale up, maybe exhale as your head just comes back down. You pick a direction. I'd always kind of be cautious with the neck and never kind of think about moving my head out slowly. Sorry, fast. I always want to do it slowly. Nice, and then come back the other way. Notice any of those tight spots that sometimes reside and hide within our shoulders and our necks. So kind of be on the lookout for any tension, kind of breathe it out. We know when we start to move the body that things become a little freer, hopefully anyway. And then inhale, bring your head back to center. And then take a full exhale. All right, let's do one more side to side movement and then we'll get into a little bit of breath work. So I encourage you to kind of move around and maybe you grab a drink. It's always good to have a bit of water on the go, isn't it? Always good. Is there ever a bad time? There's not. There's not. Staying hydrated, super important. Okay, so we did this movement, right? And we did this to the other side. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do it on the breath. Now, your breath can be really slow, or you can speed it up a little bit. But when you're ready, find that length through your spine. Inhale, right arm to the left. Exhale, left arm to the right. So you're just going to move like this. Inhaling, right arm to the left. Exhaling, left arm to the right. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. And actually, it doesn't matter where your inhale and your exhale is. As long as there's an inhale on one side, as long as there's an exhale on the other side, then you're good, right? And it might be that you move really slowly like this. You slow the breath right down, or you might want to move with a little bit more intention. It's your choice, it's your practice, but don't think that one thing is better than the other. They're just different versions, right? Inhaling, exhaling. I like to go a little bit quicker. Kind of shakes me up a little bit. I need shaking up. I certainly need shaking up from time to time. And that's the beautiful thing about yoga. It can kind of shift our, physical plane. It can kind of shift where we are emotionally, and when we get stuck in our heads and life becomes a bit of a struggle. A little bit of movement. Oh yeah, that's what we need sometimes. All right. 3 more times either side. When your top arm's lifted, exhale, bring it all the way down. I've got a really itchy nose, so I'm going to itch my nose. You can join me there. Not a full move. Take a full exhale. And stay where you are, back in Tadasana, feet on the floor, maybe the palms face up, and then just take a couple of breaths. I'm just going to check in with the comments. Jackie's here as well. Beautiful. Thank you, Jackie. It's really nice that you're starting today. Welcome. A wholehearted welcome. Stay with it. We're only here for another 15 minutes or so. Okay, all right. So that's nice, right? Side to side, through the neck, spine backwards and forwards through CatCow. So there's a lot of work going on. Shall we try some of these sun salutations again? Because the sun salutation is just a very nice way to move the body. We get to move, we get to energize the body, and every movement's got a breath attached. So it kind of gets us into our breath as well. So let me just talk you through one round. If you know them really well, then you can join in this first round. But you start, everything's obviously seated, the feet are on the floor. You inhale, you sweep your arms all the way up. As you exhale, you sweep the arms down and you fold over your legs. Now you might just come here, right? And that's cool, it's not a problem. Let the hands drop down. And then from here, there's a little movement. So what I do is I draw my hands a little higher onto my shins and I lengthen my spine. Then I exhale. I forward fold, I let my spine go. Just being mindful that I'm not straining there. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale, you frame your hands to your heart. So that's one round. And let me just show you that. When I draw from this forward fold, when I draw length in my spine, you see my spine is relatively long. And I'm not trying to come up too high. I want to just kind of draw a little bit of length in. So that's that movement. Okay, so let's move together. Let's see how we get on. Starting in Tadasana. And again, you'll find it beneficial if you're right on, not the edge of your seat, but forward at the back of your chair. But if you need that support, go for it. Just make sure you're not hindered by anything around you with the arms, because you move quite expansively. All right? Okay, so sun salutation, seated. Beautiful thing to do. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale to hinge and fold. Your next inhale draws length into your spine. There's your flat back. You exhale, you let the spine go, you hinge and fold. Inhale to come all the way back up, hands above the head. Exhale, you frame your hands to your heart, hands in prayer. This is Anjali Mudra. Okay, so just keep moving like that. Every movement's got a breath. Inhale it up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Rooting down through the feet. Inhale to come all the way up. And then exhale, frame your hands to your heart. So it's quite warming as well, right? Especially on a warm day like today. Inhaling up. Exhale to fold. Feel the four corners of your feet that support you as you come down. Inhale to lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale to hinge and fold. Really root down through your feet. Inhale, root to rise all the way up. And then exhale, frame your hands to your heart. This is such a brilliant way to move, honestly, in so many different ways. Inhaling up. Exhale to fold. Let the head be loose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale to frame your hands at your heart. Let's do two more. Inhaling up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then your final round. Inhaling up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then just pause. Maybe your hands remain here at your heart center. And you're just checking in with your experience. You let everything just settle. Maybe you bring the hands so the palms are down. Your choice. And for me now, there's definitely more heat in my body and I can sort of feel my heart's beating away just a little faster. All right. And again, you know, that's something you can do at home. And don't feel like, well, you're at home now, but I mean, you can do on your own. Don't feel like it always has to be the same. You know, don't feel like you've got to get the breath perfect. Just those movements can be really beneficial for us. All right, let's get a little bit into our hips, which we've done the last few weeks. So maybe have a little wriggle around. You might kind of just use your hands just to kind of move around so you're not getting uncomfortable. And then you're going to root down for your left foot and just lift up through your right foot if you can. If that feels too much, just be on your right toes and lift your right heel off the floor. You can join me this way. That was my knee cracking. You can just make a basket grip around your knee. And maybe just kind of squeeze that right knee in. You know, little rolls out through the ankles or big rolls out. Your choice. Just notice how this feels. Maybe come back the other way. Nice. And then from here, we can turn this into a twist. So if you're with me, release your right hand, and then have your left hand just on the outer edge of that right knee. And then open out through your right arm. So you really expand out here. There's a little bit of a balance going on as well, right? You can look down to those right fingers, your choice. Or you can look forward. You can always bring that right hand down onto your chair behind you, but I don't know, there's something about this expansive shape that I find here where I can really open out through that right arm. Feels good in the right shoulder. Take one more round of breath. So nice deep, rich inhale. And then a full exhale. And come back to center, squeeze the right knee in one final time. And then bring that right foot down. And then adjust in any way that feels good. And then your choice, you maybe just come up onto the left toes. Right foot remains on the floor. Or you can bend into the left knee and then just squeeze that left knee in. And then again, anything you want to do, you know, what I'm trying to do is encourage my spine to be long, my shoulders to be relaxed. And then I'm just curious. I'm like, well, what does this foot feel like? The ankle, the toes, this range of movement, right? It's different from side to side, but it doesn't have to be big movements. Little movements can sometimes be really beneficial. And then same thing, maybe stay here. You can go back to where we were with just your toes on the floor, or you can bring your right hand outer edge of the left knee and then sweep that left arm behind so you can twist over towards the left. So we've done a lot of side-to-side movements earlier on in the class, but now this is more of a twisting movement. Stay connected to your breath, so try not to lose your breath in any way. Nice. Take one more round of breath, maybe twist a little further. Nice, deep, rich inhale. Take a full exhale. And then bring the basket grip around that left knee and squeeze it in one final time. Bring the left foot down and then just lengthen out through the right leg again. But this time, maybe a basket grip, so the hands are like this, underneath the right leg, and then you can lengthen your right leg out. And tuck your toes back towards your right shin. So this is a hamstring stretch, but you'll also feel this obviously in your spine. I don't feel like, again, you need to work too hard here. You can kind of flex the foot out, and then maybe just come to the other side. Maybe feels different side to side. You can kind of do it without the hands if you want. It takes a little bit more effort, right? But there's options there. One more round of breath, so nice deep inhale. And then take a full exhale. Beautiful. Bring the hands down. And then from here, what we'll do is we'll do goddess pose, which I don't think we got to last week. We definitely did it the week before. So goddess is where the feet are a little bit wider. So you will probably want to be right on the front of your seat here, not to the point where you tip over. Always be careful. Now the feet are wider, so the knees are wider, and then your feet spin out. So this, for me, I'll just kind of do this. So I'll start with my feet right underneath my knees, and then I'll just kind of walk my feet out, and I just get to the point where I'm not compromising the shape, but my knees are relatively wide. So that's all right, okay? It's nice. And then you can stay here if you want. So you'll feel this in your hips, your outer hips, your inner hips. Inner hip stretch, you feel it down the adductor muscles which run down the front of your legs. And keep the hands on the knees and kind of just encourage the knees open a little more. And if you want, you can bring the arms into cactus and bring the thumb and the forefinger together, and maybe a little bit of movement side to side. So this is quite heavy, right, in the hips. But try and keep your spine nice and long, and then a little twist in from side to side can feel really good here. Beautiful. Nice. Inhale, come back to center. Bring the hands down and then bend very deeply into that right elbow and feel that release through the shoulder, and then come back to center and then just release to the other side. So just kind of move like that, little shoulder release. Maybe you feel that down the sides of the spine, little kind of freeing movement. You can bend a little deeper into the elbows, come forward, maybe come back. And then from here, walk the feet in. We're going to carry on with that movement. Make sure you're comfortable, and then do a little bit of Sufi Grind. So now the knees and the ankles are lined up, and you inhale forward and you exhale as you round into your spine. So draw circles, and don't worry about which way you're going, because we will swap it out. But I like to move with the breath. So I inhale here and I exhale as I come back. Inhale forward, exhale as you come back. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to center, and then just swap that out. Come back the other way. And they could be really tiny movements, right? You might think about your navel, and then you just draw in those circles from your navel. Freeing everything up. When you're ready, inhale, come all the way back to center, and take a full exhale. Bring your palms so they face up, and then just relax it out here. Maybe close your eyes. Notice the effects of your practice so far. Soon to go into our final relaxation, but a little bit of movement through your shoulders. So turn the palms face down again, and then maybe shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and then drop your shoulder blades down your back. Just do that a few times. Inhaling up. Exhale as you release. Inhaling up. And exhale to release. Nice. Do that a couple more times. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll do a tiny little bit of breath work and then a tiny little bit of relaxation at the end. And then you can get on with your day. So it's nice just to do a little bit of breath awareness. So I'm going to lean back in my chair for the first time. So I don't really need to bring much physicality to this. I want to find a lot of room to breathe into, but I can do that because the chair supports my torso and my posture. But I can relax a little bit more than I would do. So what we're going to do, we're going to do something called 5-5-5 breath. Okay, so we're going to inhale through the nose for a count of 5. Don't worry, I'll count us in. We're going to hold the breath at the top for a count of 5. We're going to exhale for a count of 5, and that's one round. So we inhale 5, hold 5, exhale 5. Okay. Now remember, breath work's very personal. So if you do it and you start to do it and you think, I don't like it, please find a breath that works for you. Don't feel like you have to follow me all the time. So we can do this, right? Why don't we do this little mudra? Should we do this mudra? So you bring your hands together, and the fingers you kind of spread out. So hopefully you can see that. I'll come a little bit closer. So the hands are going to be like this, okay? And then what you're going to do, you're going to spin the thumbs and the first finger back. So you're going to be in this position. It just kind of encourages your spine to be nice and long, okay? You can try it. You don't have to do it. You can try it. I like it. I think it's a nice place to put your hands when you're doing this breath. Okay, so when you're ready, maybe close your eyes or relax your gaze. Inhale for a count of 2, 3, 4, 5. Through the nose. 1, 2. Hold the breath for 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale through the nose for 2, 3, 4, 5. Without the counting, inhale. Pause the breath at the top. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Let all the breath out. 2 more rounds like that. Inhaling through the nose. Pausing the breath here at the top. Exhale through your nose. One more time. Inhale. Pause. And exhale. And if you're using that little mudra like I was, you can spin the fingers back forward, maybe bring the palm so they're face up, and just spend, I don't know, a minute or so letting everything settle. So this is your Shavasana at the end of the class, your final relaxation. And then from here, just bring in tiny little movements back into your body, your fingers and your toes, maybe your ankles, maybe your wrists. If you sat back like I was, you might just kind of sit forward a little bit, have a little wriggle around. And notice the effects of your practice. Notice how you feel after practicing today together. And then we'll finish off just by bringing our hands to our heart. Press your thumbs into your sternum, sit nice and tall. And one final time, just to thank yourself for showing up on your chair today, for practicing together. And then just with a wholehearted bow, wishing yourself well, wishing everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining today. It's really nice to practice with you all. Yeah, just take your time. It's little bits at a time. You don't have to kind of piece together a whole practice. If you did 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week on your chair, those sun salutations or those side bends or, these lateral movements which we've done side to side, so much benefit from kind of moving the breath, being aware of the sensations within your body. Sometimes we can get a little bit, stuck here, and a little bit of movement can really help us. But there's so much content, right, on the Virtual Village Hall. You've got Pilates, and you have laughter yoga, and you have mindful meditation, you have the HIIT stuff with Andy. There's just so much stuff out there. So I encourage you to wholeheartedly just do a little bit every single day. And we all know, right, that we never feel worse for movement. We never feel worse for connecting. We never feel worse for activity. It's really important part of being human. So I encourage it wholeheartedly. And I thank the Virtual Village Hall for providing such amazing content that everybody provides. So look after yourselves, guys. Back here Thursday. Actually, that's not true. We are here on Thursday, but I'm not teaching it. Natalia, who's an amazing teacher that I teach yoga with in Leicester, is going to be teaching. So she's covering me on Thursday. So it'll be Natalia on Thursday. Then I'm back for 2 classes next week. I'm otherwise engaged in Bournemouth on Thursday. So hopefully the sun will be shining. Not that I'll get a chance to go outside, I don't think. Anyway, I am busy, I promise you. All right, guys. I'll see you all soon. Look after yourselves.